League of Legends Classic just got shut down. Why do I call it Classic? Because that's basically what it was. The vanilla experience of League of Legends before major changes came in. Chronoshift was a time capsule back to the old days of League of Legends before Riot Games employed 200 years of game dev experience. It was a private server. Do you remember/know about Nostalrius? It was a vanilla private server for World of Warcraft. And it got so popular that Blizzard had to acknowledge that a lot of people wanted the classic experience. Also, Mark Kern, a former lead World of Warcraft developer, created an open letter to Blizzard about it and printed out 10,000 pages of support for it. And Blizzard finally caved and gave us Classic, and when it came out it was one of the biggest gaming events I've seen since, well, Season 3 League of Legends. In Season 3 it felt like everyone was playing League of Legends and everyone was watching the LCS. During that time I also made a lot of friends playing League who I still talk to and cherish to this day. But the game has changed a lot since then. Okay, it's a little unfair to put it all in the game. I've changed too, and so did my friends. And there are so many other multiplayer experiences now compared to when Season 3 League was happening. Maybe my friends list is 7 out of 130 because those 123 people found their perfect multiplayer experience, but maybe some of them left because the game changed so much. I realize that World of Warcraft and League of Legends are very different cases. League is primarily a match-based game, so Riot might be afraid of taking players out of the pool for the current game, so maybe a classic experience isn't feasible for League of Legends. And maybe that same interest isn't there for League, but there is clearly some interest. Otherwise the Chronoshift devs wouldn't have started working on a classic League project. Let's get into the reason I started making this video. The conversation between a Chronoshift developer and a member of League's security team named Zed. And it's quite possibly the most ridiculous chat log I have ever read. Hey, thanks for the unblock. My apologies, I thought you were a spammer. All good, I'm sure you get a bunch. I'm sure your department has some sort of statement they would like to make, so I suppose we can dispense with the formalities. Sure, let's get right down to it. The Riot Games legal team isn't super thrilled about your project, unfortunately, and is looking for a way to come to a mutually acceptable end to it. The courts are always an option, but it's long and messy, so we thought we'd do some outreach to see if we could work together to prevent everyone the trouble. So here I am to be the representative of that effort. We have a few things we'd like you to provide us, and then we can all walk away with no hard feelings. I see. Let me get to work and set up on my computer, and I'll be happy to discuss. Sounds good. Talk to you soon. Alright, I may have to come and go as my job requires, but I'm here. I admire the effort to cleanse your channels, but I'll be real with you. That's making me think you don't have a ton of interest in cooperating. At the end of the day, that's fine, but I'd urge you to give us some credit. We archived all your messages long before you nuked the channel. You can delete the private channels too if you like, mod, chat back and to do, game issues, archived old videos. But I prefer you didn't, since it really won't do you any good anyway. You've obviously put a lot of work into Chronoshift, but I assure you that the Chrono break is coming. I appreciate the effort, but you can dispense with the scare tactics. I need to recover. Hold on. Understood, and I appreciate that you're taking the time to speak with me, but let's try to not work around each other. If it were scare tactics Riot wanted, you wouldn't be speaking to me. I'm sure lawyers are much more direct though. I'm here as the not lawyer. If it's directness you prefer, here's what I'm after. Hand over the Chronoshift dev website to us. Hand over all source code. Tell us all identifiable information you shared with the other developer. And what identifiable information he shared with you. Not necessarily required, but I'd be curious to know how you and the other developer broke down the workload, giving me a moment to confer with the other developer. Sure, but for what it's worth, it is my understanding that there really isn't anything to the legal strategy you referred to in the informational channel. With respect, sir, I would appreciate if you would turn off the scare script kiddie script with me. I am willing to cooperate, but I find this sort of attempted browbeating annoying. Let's get down to brass tacks. No browbeating intended. I would appreciate if you would lay down the legal claims that you plan to bring forward against me and the team, so we can have a chance to discuss them with the legal representatives if this doesn't go anywhere. At the moment, you've just essentially said comply because we know your name and we are threatening with the courts. I would appreciate to know exactly what you intend to accuse us of. As you've clearly been lurking in our channels, you must know the great lengths we've gone to avoid distributing your materials except via channels you already provide. That is correct. Till now I've said, give this or we will sue. That's the offer. Give me what I'm looking for and we won't sue. Refuse and we will. I'm not interested in dragging this out. If you feel you'd like to speak to legal representation, you are certainly capable of doing so. I'm on the security team. I find people and things. Oh my god, this guy. I don't practice law and have little to nothing to do with any legal proceedings Riot is involved in. We can come to an agreement to end this today, or we can both hand this off to council. To be honest, I don't care either way. Here's my counter offer. I cut ties with this project. I tell the other developer to shut it down immediately. I can't compel him to do anything though, that's on you. I don't control the website, I don't want to rat on other people. If you know who they are already, you can threaten him too. Otherwise, feel free to serve me. Oh! I wish I could say it's been a pleasure. Oh my god, this guy would name himself after Seth, you fucking cringe lord. You can tell that this guy really works for Riot Games because of the air of arrogant cringe around him. Seriously, what the hell is going on behind the scenes in Riot Games? Anyway, Riot definitely deserves some credit for not suing immediately, but Seth demanding to get all the work the Chronoshift devs did is ridiculous. Look, Riot has to protect their IP. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they literally have to, or they could risk losing the IP. It all boils down to this. Do I want to play old school League? Yes, I would love to play Season 3 League again. And I think it's really valuable for a game and even just humanity to look at its history and learn from it. And remember what was good about it then and apply it to now. Or maybe you can prove to boomers like me that the new game is better. But the old players left because they liked the old game, not the new one. But I have an idea of how Riot could do a classic without splitting the player base across servers. They could have a time travel event, a Chronoshift if you will, wink wink. They could bring back the game as it was in Season 3 for example, and you can play it as it was then. And maybe see what things are better in the old experience compared to the new one. And then fix that, and you could use it as an opportunity to gauge interest in that experience. To see if people would stick around for something like that. Maybe a lot of players would come back for that. I would come back. At least for a time. At least for the event if it would happen. I'm a bit of a bad test case since I'm a bit of a gamer slut. I like to play a lot of different games and I don't really stick around or focus too much on any one game. But there was one game I did stick around for. And that was Season 3 League of Legends. Because it was awesome. So yeah, I guess to end this video I'd say a Chronoshift event would be really cool. And since every other gaming company is nostalgia baiting with remastered versions of their old games, Riot might as well do it too. Also, the employees at Riot Games really need to take a class on how they should interact with other people humans. This video is a little more chaotic than I usually do them, but I just wanted to get this off my chest and start a conversation hopefully, and share that really professional conversation. If you disagree with me on the Chronoshift idea, then be sure to let me know. I'd love to have a conversation about it, and subscribe. Video over, bye!